Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving into a seriously chilling piece of village folklore. It's a story where the ordinary, everyday struggle of life literally collides with the terrifying supernatural. I want you to just imagine the stifling, oppressive atmosphere of a peak summer night in an Indian village. We're talking about the kind of heat where the air feels like an oven, and the walls of your home are just radiating the sun from the day. So we're following three poor village friends, Raghav, Hari, and Gopal. They've been working the fields all day, completely drenched in sweat, and now they're just desperately struggling to get a few hours of sleep.
So what if trying to escape the summer heat cost you your life? I mean, it sounds like a massive, dramatic leap, right? But this is exactly the terrifying reality our three friends are about to face. They don't have the money for a fan. Their homes are suffocating, literally feeling like absolute furnaces. Driven to the total edge of exhaustion by this unbearable heat, they make a choice. And it's a choice that sets off a chain of events so horrifying, well, it's going to leave one of them dead.
It comes down to this ultimate dilemma. Inside, you've got suffocating heat, but you're safe from the dark. Outside, there's a cool breeze, but you're totally exposed. Now, the village elders had issued strict warnings. They said never, ever sleep outside at night. Why? Because being out there leaves you entirely exposed to the village's darkest rumor. But, they're just so exhausted, they choose the breeze. They decide to set up their woven beds, their khatyas, right outside, under the open sky.
And that brings us to the churl. If you're not familiar with the folklore, a churl is a terrifying, wandering witch known to haunt the night, specifically targeting those who stray into her domain. Now the friends, they're huddled together on their beds, kinda laughing off the rumors, figuring, hey, there's safety in numbers, right? Fast forward to around midnight. The village is dead silent. Raghav wakes up needing to relieve himself. He groggily walks just a little distance away into the pitch-black darkness. And right as he does, a shadow moves behind him, lightning fast.
He calls out, thinking it's just one of his friends. But when he turns around, he is face to face with an absolute nightmare. The churel is standing right there. Her eyes are glowing like literal red bulbs in the dark, and she delivers this chilling threat right to him. You love sleeping outside so much, sleep outside tomorrow too.
Okay, pure blinding panic instantly takes over. Raghav doesn't even stop to wake his friends. He just bolts straight inside Hari's house, locks the heavy door, and peeks out the window. And that is when the true horror of the situation really unfolds. He watches the churel walk over to where they were just sleeping, and she casually lies down on his empty bed. It was the middle bed. He realizes Hari and Gopal are still sleeping soundly on either side, completely unaware that death itself is resting exactly where he was just laying. He frantically calls out from the window, mimicking his own voice so he doesn't scare them too badly, just begging them to wake up and look at who's between them. When they open their eyes, oh man, the shock nearly kills them. They leap up, sprint into the house, and slam the door locked.
The crucial takeaway here is that they survived the night. But now, they have a massive problem. They are absolutely terrified, and there is no way they're ever risking sleeping outside again. Hearing the churel pacing and crying outside their door all night completely sealed the deal. But how on earth do they survive the suffocating heat indoors? Well, they come up with this desperate but surprisingly logical survival plan. Step 1, pool all their remaining money. Step 2, walk to the next village. Step 3, buy a cheap fan to survive sleeping indoors. It's literally the only way they can stay safely locked inside and not roast alive.
So the next day turns into this grueling timeline of survival. Morning hits and they start walking to the next village. The sun is just beating down on them like hot coals. Their feet are practically burning on the dirt road. But that thought of a cool, safe night, that pushes them forward. By 4:30 p.m., after hours of walking, they finally hit an electronics shop. They negotiate, they plead their poverty, and they get the fan. But as dusk starts to fall, painting the sky this deep red, they have to start the long trek back. And to get home, they have to walk right back through the haunted jungle.
$550. That's 550 rupees. That is the exact price they paid for this cheap pedestal fan. It's an incredibly meager amount of money, scraped together by three guys just looking for a tiny bit of comfort and safety. I really want you to keep this number in mind, because this small sum is about to become the ultimate ironic price of a human life.
The journey back begins. Gopal is actually thrilled they finally have a solution, so he hoists this heavy fan right onto his head to carry it. The three friends re-enter the jungle path. But this time, the silence feels different. It's deeper, unnatural.
The darkness is creeping in fast, and that dread from the night before starts bubbling right back up. Gopal is walking just slightly behind Raghav and Hari.
Then, out of nowhere, Gopal starts to really struggle. Why was the 550 rupee fan suddenly getting heavier and heavier? He calls out, complaining that his neck is stiffening up, that it actually feels like something is actively pressing down on him from above. His friends try to brush it off. They're like, "Come on, you're just exhausted from walking all day in the sun." But Gopal insists. The weight isn't just physical fatigue. He says it literally feels like someone is sitting on top of him.
Raghav, getting kind of annoyed but also concerned, turns around to look, and what he sees absolutely freezes the blood in his veins. A dark, blurry shadow was sitting right on top of the fan. It looked exactly like a woman. Gopal has absolutely no idea. He is blindly carrying his own death, basically acting as a personal taxi for the Churel. Raghav just screams at Gopal to throw the fan down immediately.
Gopal is completely confused and terrified, so he shakes the fan violently. And in the blink of an eye, the dark shadow vanishes from the top of the fan. Raghav rubs his eyes, hoping, praying it was just a hallucination. But as they take a step forward, boom! There she is, standing dead center in the narrow jungle path, completely blocking their way, eyes glowing like red bulbs in the dark. She stares right at them and actually demands the fan. She says she gets hot too and she wants it for the jungle.
The guys are completely paralyzed, but the Churel, she's just getting started. This is where she springs her trap. First, she increased the fan's weight to exhaust and isolate Gopal at the back. Second, as they try to run, they realize she's looped the jungle path. It's like a supernatural treadmill. No matter how fast they run, they keep passing the exact same trees. And finally, the physical trap. The ground itself seems to pull at them, and they stumble into some thick bushes where Gopal's foot gets completely, hopelessly trapped.
And this is where the story takes its darkest, honestly most human turn. Raghav ran. Blinded by sheer, overwhelming terror, his primal survival instinct just takes over. He doesn't stop to help. He doesn't even look back. He just runs for his absolute life, totally desperate to reach the edge of the village. Hari ran too. Hearing Gopal's scream as this supernatural terror closes in, Hari just bolts. Both Raghav and Hari abandon all reason. They are entirely consumed by the need to get away from those glowing red eyes. They break through the jungle sprinting, assuming, or maybe just hoping, that Gopal is somehow right behind them.
But Gopal was left behind. Still trapped in the bushes, he's screaming for his friends. "Hari! Raghav! Don't leave me alone!" But his desperate pleas just fade out into the dark, empty trees. His friends are gone. He is completely isolated, standing face to face with a predator. The Churel steps closer, staring at him exactly like a hunter looking at caught prey.
As she approaches, she delivers this final, chilling promise. "Now this fan is mine, and you are mine too. You will never feel hot again." And with those words, she reaches out with these freezing, icy hands, wraps them tightly around Gopal's neck, and strangles the life right out of him. Back at the village, Raghav and Hari make it into the house, slam the lock shut, and realize Gopal isn't there. They are way too terrified to go back into the dark to save him, so they just stay awake all night, completely consumed by dread. When morning finally breaks, they cautiously open the front door. And the morning discovery is just macabre. Gopal's lifeless body is lying right there at their door. There are deep, black marks on his neck. And the most chilling detail of all? Placed neatly right next to him is that brand new 550 rupee fan. The Churel had delivered both their friend and their prize right to their doorstep.
The surviving friends just fall to their knees. They realize that if they had just looked back, or honestly, if they hadn't gone into the jungle for that fan at all, their brother would still be alive. Which brings us to this lingering question I want to leave you with. Did they pool their money to buy comfort? Or did they just unknowingly buy their friend's doom? They got the fan they so desperately wanted, but the cost was a literal lifetime of unbearable guilt. It's a tragic irony that really makes you wonder how much weight our daily choices carry, especially when we ignore the warnings right in front of us. Thanks for joining me on this explainer. Keep questioning, keep learning, and hey, maybe tonight just double check that your doors are locked.